guys, this is Alex703 Rockstar and I am back. I'm going to try to sneak in another album review here while I have a nugget of time to do it. Sorry about my voice. I'm a little hoarse, and no, I'm not just doing it to imitate Rocket Outlaw. Anyway, this is a review for the Hold Steady, Heaven is Whenever. I said I was going to review this. I'm going to follow through on that promise. Anyway, Heaven is Whenever provides two major changes for the Hold Steady style. One is a physical one, and the other one is more of a songwriting / emotional one. The physical one is that Franz Nicolay, the keyboardist, is no longer part of the band on this album. And how does that affect the band? There is some negative, which for me is the flourishes that he would bring, that combined with the bar rock of the Hold Steady pre-Nicolay on Boys and Girls in America, which I think is their best album, and then again the flourishes on Stay Positive, which really saved the album from being a little drab and created some awesome anthems like Sequestered in Memphis and Stay Positive. So it's sad that he's gone. It gave some real emotion and good arena sounding stuff to the music, but there are some positives as well, and that's that it puts more emphasis on the rest of the band that was a little crowded, drowned out in his incredible flourishes. For example, since now they have more pressure on them, or not even more pressure, but more attention being paid to them, the band is really, really impressive here. I mean, Tad Kubler writes some of the best guitar riffs he's written in years, especially on The Smidge. That's a badass song. And Our Whole Lives, really, really good riffs. And another change that the Hold Steady have had is a songwriting style change. On Stay Positive, it seemed like they started distancing themselves from the, close tales of people in the bars of St. Paul, Minnesota, and of all that stuff. They distanced themselves a little and went a little more anthemic. And here, although they do talk about the bars and there is a witty wordplay that's always there, they're even a little more distant. They're taking it from a more broad perspective, and it's interesting because the more fame they've achieved and the more of success they've recognized, the more the Hold Steady has distanced themselves from those characters. And again, this brings some negatives and some positives. The negatives is that those stories were really well told. Craig Finn had a really witty way of delivering these lines, and he really ran lyrical circles around other rock bands in a way that I had only really heard from rappers, which I thought was interesting. But the good thing is that they're progressing. I mean, you could get bored of these stories. It's the same characters, the same places, and it's nice that they're progressing. Now, do I like this album? Sort of. I think it's a transition album, and it could be a transition to something good, but there are some hitches in it. Some I've already described, but there's some more here. First of all, the production by Dean Valtulonis is very, very flat. It doesn't let the band, sort of flourish, and part of that is due to Franz Nicolay's departure, but even some of the really cool ideas here on the guitar, on the drums, just seem like they're sort of shoved into the mix, and they're not allowed to shine. That's kind of annoying. Also, there are certain songs where they strive to achieve anthemic success, and they don't really work. The only real anthem here is Rock Problems, which has a catchy as hell chorus, but on a lot of songs it's just like, yeah, I could take it or leave it. Anyway, this is a transition. They sound very wary on this album, like they've been on the road for a while. Album number 5 and they're wary. So I thought that was a bit of an interesting take as well, that they're a little tired now, but not in a bad way, not as in they're burning out, but tired as in they have something else to write about, and that's the fact that they're tired. Now, this album was good. It was transitional. It was not quite great. I can give this a 6.5 out of 10. It was probably the worst album, but that's not a bad thing because I feel like it could move